Peace, everybody. Welcome to the Friday edition of Burn It Down with Kim Brown. This is the safe space, at least for the moment, to set oppression ablaze. It may not be so safe by the end of this program, but at the moment, well, let's call it a safe space. Let's call it a safe space. I'm so grateful that you guys have all made some time to join me tonight. We have a really good show for you. We've got some updates. Can I say this real quick about my own show? I love the fact that this is a program that gives updates. I don't just be dropping these stories on y'all and be like, oh, well, on to the next shit. No, we got to come back and revisit some of these stories because these stories have outcomes. They have resolutions. Some of them that we approve of, and some of them we absolutely do not approve of. So a couple of these updates, they're really meh, to be quite honest. But regardless, we're gonna take them there. But we've got a lot of good things, or really actually not so good things to get into. If you're easily triggered, maybe this is not the show for you. But to be perfectly honest, though, I don't really have any violence to show. Obviously, there will be violence in the descriptions of some of the incidents that we'll be discussing tonight, and of course, we're going to talk about the attacks that continue to rain down on Gaza from the Israeli military. And, we live in wild times, everybody. We live in wild times. And, if you ever thought, even though I think most people of color, black and brown folks specifically, definitely people who practice and follow Islam, if you are a marginalized group or come from a marginalized class, you understand that your freedom of speech, it don't really apply. Like, just like the rest of the Constitution, just like the rest of our constitutional rights, them joints is meted out depending on your status, social, gender, racial, class, whatever, however you rank on the hierarchy determines your access to those constitutional rights. So, I imagine mine ranks pretty low. So so we'll see. We'll see how far this freedom of speech goes out here on these YouTube streets tonight, depending on my commentary. Sorry guys, I have an eyelash right in my eyeball. Hope I got it. Anyway, I don't think I did. But regardless. Let me check in with my people in here tonight. Well, before I start talking about my topics for the itinerary. One of the things I want to get out here, just in case YouTube decides to yank the shit, let me make some announcements here really quickly. So, if you've been following the calendar, you would notice that tomorrow, October 14th, is the second Saturday of the month. And what do we do on every second Saturday of the month? We have our Around the Fire Disability Support Chats. Shout out to Anna Hart. Shout out to Mama Lorraine Hart. Shout out to the good sis, Learn Life Abby, and to everybody that comes and participates in our monthly, bi-monthly really, but the main Around the Fire Disability Support Chat is every second Saturday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time, 2 p.m. Pacific Time, and y'all can figure out y'all's respective time zones therein. But we appreciate everybody that does come through and has come through already. So thank you all so much. What is all this? What's going on here? Oh, so don't forget to do that. If you were you don't even have to be a channel member. Actually, Anna and Abby gave me the green light to go on and invite everybody. So if you are a patron, you will see this information on Patreon, and you can find it in the community section. It will be there tomorrow morning here on the BIDWKB platform. What else do I have to say? Oh, thanks for the people who have ran the channel some bucks lately. I see you, Infinite Content. I'm gonna get to you in 1 second, but shout out to Rosalba. Shout out to Donnie. We appreciate any and all support, everybody. And if you want to support the channel, especially in advance of what I'm about to say, you can do that. BIDWKB. That's us on Cash App. That's us on Venmo. That's us on PayPal. PayPal.me/BIDWKB. And you can also sign up to become a patron, which supports us very much. Our tiers start as low as $2 a month. It's very affordable, guys. We're not trying to hit people over the head. We just want to give folks of all income statuses to support the channel as much as you are able. And trust me, and I've said this lots of times before, and I mean it. The free support is appreciated, gang. It really is. I appreciate you showing up here in the chat. I appreciate your participation. Shout out to Jazzy Pooh. I appreciate your comments, even if you just say comment. that is totally acceptable. Shout out to the mods. Shout out to Latif and Courtney and Chuck Diesel when he rolled through here. We appreciate the free support, y'all. So thank you all so much for showing up, likes, subscriptions, whatever y'all do. It's deeply appreciated. Hold on here. What's Infinite? Let me get to you, Infinite, because Infinite broke us off the top, which means the bruv got something to say if he running bucks off the brizzle. What you got here, Infinite Content? Thank you so much for your super chat. Oh, hold on. Let me make this bigger so I can read this shit. What's this say? Hold on, y'all. And y'all see, I didn't break it per se. I separated it unintentionally. The arm, here's the arm, and here's where the mic is supposed to go. And them things they have broken apart. they are broken apart. I didn't even ask Will what he was doing this weekend. Should I? Will? No, you know what? I can fix this, Will. I don't need you to come all the way down from Baltimore. I can try to put this shit back together. Infinite Content, say, hey, Kim, this is going to be a tough show. But to start out, can we, hold on, my phone is falling out my hands. Can we congratulate Simone Biles? Well, that is some good news. Yes, we can congratulate Simone Biles. What'd she do here, Infinite Content? She won her millionth gold medal. Millionth, you say? No, he didn't say that. He said his 31st or 23rd gold gymnastics. Yes. Black woman excellence indeed. And I appreciate that, Infinite Content. Thank you so much for saying that. And it does bring a little bit of smile to my face, especially given the gravity of some of the topics that we're going to get into tonight. But yeah, let us take a moment to acknowledge the awesomeness of Simone Biles. If you guys remember, was this last year or through two free? Goddamn, how long have we been on? But I remember we did a whole little stint where we was covering Simone Biles. I think at the national championships. This was in advance of wherever the fuck they went to do the Summer Olympics. What was that? Japan, Tokyo, China? I don't know where the fuck they was, but they was over in Asia somewhere. But anyway, she was precluded from doing that double pike off the vault or whatever the fuck she did off the balance beam. I don't know what it was. And remember, the judges told her that she could not do that move in competition because she was the only one that could do it. They said it was unfair to the other gymnasts that only she could do this move. And it's like, you want to punish Black people for being amazing because they can do some shit that everybody else can do. But now Simone was allowed to actually do that move in a competition, and they even renamed the move, right? Because I think it used to be called like the double Timoshenko or some shit, but they said, nah, we're gonna name that shit the Biles 2. Rightfully so. Thank you so much, Infinite. Yeah, get us started off on some positivity, because there ain't nothing but there's a lot of negativity. There's a lot of negativity flooding the streets out here. And matter of fact, let's go on and get into it because Saturday, as I'm sure everybody saw, the breaking news this past Saturday. It's been almost a week since Hamas came from Gaza and decided to bring the motherfucking ruckus over in Israel. And for a lot of people, this is the first time that they are aware, number one, of there being a quote conflict. And we're going to get into some of the ways in which this is framed, particularly in American media, Western media, but American media especially. And for a lot of people, again, Saturday was the first fucking day that they were made aware that Palestine would be willing to wage an attack within Israeli borders. And the press has framed Hamas's action as a surprise attack on Israel. I saw it described by multiple people on MSNBC when I was watching the day that it happened, I saw multiple people on MSNBC describe this as a quote, unprovoked attack. And I said, wow, look at the amount of people who are sitting here with mics and cameras who have clearly not paid any attention to all of the outright destruction, terror, suppression, occupation that the Israelis and their military faction, the IDF, the Israeli Defense Forces, have been raining down on Gaza and Palestinians. I mean, we do the real numbers, it's been going on for what, 70 some years? But because this is my channel and this is my platform, I'm gonna orient how I talk about this from my perspective and when I became aware of the atrocities committed by the Israelis in Gaza within Palestinian borders. I'm going to say it's probably been maybe about a decade, 10 to 15 years that I've been aware, right? Not super informed, not been able to run down the history post World War II and the redrawing of the lines. No, 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 no. I ain't got none of that. There's lots of people on the internet that got plenty of that for y'all. That's not what I got here for y'all. When I became aware of the situation in Palestine in which these people, number one, had their land stolen from them, they were allotted a certain space, amount of space, and progressively, Israel has come to take and chop that space. And they have not come nicely. They haven't come with money or recompense. You know, we hear the term used a lot in the media, the Israeli settlers. I mean, think of the Israeli settlers much as you can think of the European settlers that came and, quote, settled the Americas. That shit wasn't settled. That shit was stowed. Okay. It was stowed at the barrel of a gun. It was stowed with biological warfare. I mean, all the ways in which the European colonialists came and took the Americas, took the West, the West, when it was brown and indigenous, came and took the West from the natives, right? Israel has come and colonized Palestine in the exact same way, okay? With the backing and the assistance and the encouragement of places like the United States, right? Um, so the framing of what happened on Saturday with Hamas fighters coming in to Israel on hang gliders and paragliders, and these dog. When you talk about David and Goliath, that is a perfect David and Goliath analogy. The low tech way in which Hamas was able to come and penetrate Israel with all of their Iron Dome defenses, with all of their airstrike capacities, with their hundreds of thousands of active duty and reserve troops in Israel, which, by the way, are amassing on the border, preparing allegedly for a ground invasion. We're going to talk about that in a second because Palestine is not is in a bad way right now. Okay, despite what I would take as a military victory on Saturday, because you punched Israel in the face and they wasn't even ready for the shit. That shit was crazy. Like crazy to even think that the Palestinians and Hamas could execute something like that. And maybe I am incorrect by using those terms. I don't want to use those terms interchangeably. I know Hamas is an organization and a political entity in addition to being a military entity. Yeah. And I know not all Palestinians support Hamas, but at the same time, with this quote war, as Netanyahu, the Israeli prime minister, framed it, says that Israel is at war. And the way it's being framed in the Western media is Israel versus Hamas. The way it's going to look and the way it's already playing out in real life, it's not Israel versus Hamas. It is Israel bombing the shit out of civilians in Palestine. And the excuse that they give for these human rights atrocities, which again have just been amplified since Saturday's attack, they have been continual and unbroken for many decades with the blockade of Gaza, people who live within Palestine. They are not allowed to leave Palestine. Are we all clear on that? Like most Palestinians cannot travel freely either across the border into Israel or into Egypt or to even just leave the fucking country. Like they don't have those freedoms. Now the whys of why these people don't have those freedoms, again, I am not equipped to tell you that, but I can tell you that that shit is fucked up, right? Like that's my capacity right there. I can look at the thing and tell you that the shit is fucked up. I can't tell you why or how it got to be fucked up, but I can tell you that it's fucked up, right? So the fact that these people can't even leave Palestine right now is horrific. Okay? Israel has cut the power in Palestine. There is no fuel coming into Palestine. The resources are dwindling and evaporating very quickly right now in Palestine. The United Nations says that Palestinians are going to face a human rights calamity if something is not done. Apparently, Israel has implored Palestinian civilians to try to exit the north of the country, right? Exit where? Where they going? To Lebanon? Where they going? To Egypt? Like, what? You're trying to move or evacuate or tell 1 million to 2 million civilians that they need to leave and they need to evacuate in a deadline, right? In a very small time frame. That's not plausible. That's not humanly possible. That's not going to happen in a safe way to minimize the loss of life. But here's the kicker. Israel don't give a shit about Palestinian lives. Every piece of their policy for the past 60, 70 years has made that very clear. And if it's not been made clear over these decades, let it be perfectly fucking clear what they have done over the past handful of years. But we can even look back at this year in the past 12 months. What the Israeli forces have done inside of Gaza has been absolutely horrific. They continue to go into people's homes and take them. And I think it sounds like such a simplistic thing. It's almost unreal, right? Well, what do you mean they just take the homes? Imagine troops come to your house or just regular fucking people come to your house, but they have the support of those with guns. And they say, you got 5 minutes to get out. Maybe they let you take your things. Maybe they don't let you take your things. But they are telling you that you are going to leave your home, not by your choice, but absolutely by force. And if you come back, we're going to kill you. That is the reality of the situation that people living in Gaza, the Palestinians, have been facing. Here on this program, we covered the assassination of the Al Jazeera journalist Shireen Abu Alek. I was saying her name right. She was assassinated by the IDF. The U.S. government was aware of this. Joe Biden, I believe, even said that, they were going to do an investigation, and Israel said they were going to do an investigation about the assassination, the murder of this journalist. She wasn't a soldier. She wasn't a fighter. She was a Palestinian woman, Palestinian American woman, who insisted on reporting the truth about the atrocities being committed against her people within her lands, their lands. And she was assassinated for speaking that truth. And at her funeral, when they were bringing Shireen's body past, I believe, the Al Jazeera headquarters, IDF soldiers came and tried to knock her casket out of the hands of the pallbearers, the people who were carrying her body. They tried to knock it out of their hands to bring her casket to the ground while people were mourning her. And that's just one of many, 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 many Palestinian martyrs whose funeral services were absolutely desecrated by Israeli soldiers. Okay, this ain't my opinion, y'all. This shit is very well documented, and the only reason I did not pull the videos of these instances is because, in my opinion, I already show a lot of suffering on this channel, right? You know what I'm saying? I do, and there are limits to even my emotional bandwidth to process trauma, tragedy, and suffering. And when it comes to talking about what happens continually to the Palestinian people, I don't bring it up very often on this show because it breaks my literal heart. Like it hurts me. It hurts to talk about it. Certain places in situations I find it very hard to bring up as news on my show because it's that hurtful to me as a person. Palestine being one, Haiti being another. Because the situations are so dire and so heartbreaking. It's like, do I even have the words to try to make sense or analyze or anything regarding this prolonged suffering that Haitians endure and continue to endure, and that Palestinians have endured and continue to endure? But this is my main goal here tonight, y'all. I'm not really here to update the news about what's next in terms of what the response continues to be from Israel. It's horrific. You can imagine that. I do not view what Hamas did as terrorism at all. I view it as a response. I view it as as proof positive that these people are going to defend themselves and that these people are going to resist the attempted genocide of them off of the fucking planet. I could never root against that. Okay? I am a humanitarian. I don't like to see people suffering. I do feel for the families and loved ones of the Israelis who were killed and kept hostage. But I'm looking at it from a longer view, right? Like, the suffering that the Israelis are feeling right now is an extension of the suffering that the Palestinians have been enduring for literally generations. This is not a fighting on both sides kind of thing. If you peep the numbers of Palestinians who have been murdered by Israeli forces versus the number of Israelis who have been murdered by, say, Hamas and other so-called militarized groups coming out of Palestine, them shits ain't that shit ain't close. Okay, it's not close. It's a lot to a little. It's a lot of Palestinians having been killed and murdered, and not nearly as many Israelis killed by Palestinians as Palestinians killed by Israelis. So this is not, to me, a both sides thing. One side is a well-armed, well-resourced, quote, first world nation, nuclear armed nation, by the way. Israel ain't supposed to have no goddamn nukes, but they got them. Who gonna take them from them? The US? No. Israel is supposed to have no fucking nuclear weapons. They not down with the click like that in terms of the Bahamas are supposed to have nuclear. Well, I guess technically nobody's supposed to have nuclear weapons, but in terms of the internationally recognized countries that have nuclear weapons, Israel is not one of those internationally recognized countries, but they still got them shits. Okay, so the rules are a little different for Israel. Palestine has no army. They don't have no military. And Palestinians have been fighting the well-resourced and armed Israelis for generations now. And this latest incident that happened on Saturday is just a reminder, a reinforcement that the Palestinians are not going to lay down and just die and just be wiped out off the map, right? But anyway, hold on. Let me, Will, if you could cue up that video, because I've got some videos here for y'all, and these are videos. I was very intentional in these videos that I selected, everybody, because people who are in support and standing up for Palestine right now are being smeared. People are losing their jobs. People are losing their livelihoods. People are being labeled as anti-Semites and supporters of terrorism. And I just want to be very clear that all of that is bullshit. Okay, by and large, do we have some fucking goofy fucking Nazis out here that are celebrating the killing of Jews? I'm sure there are, but I'm sure those Nazis are not the Muslims who live in the Arab world, who live in Palestine and other places, and who have specific issue with Israeli state policy, not with Jewish people. Okay? People who practice and follow Judaism are fine. Motherfuckers who support the imperialist doctrine and the policies of Israel, those people are pieces of shit. And if they happen, I don't give a fuck actually what religion, background, faith, creed, or color, Cory Booker, goofy ass, popping that APAC shit, that's a goofy nigga too. You feel me? Like anyone that is popping that pro-Zionist nonsense can kiss my ass. All right? Period, point blank. And don't let anybody, if you see a false allegation of anti-Semitism because someone has critique about Israeli policy, did that shit as soon as you hear it / see it. Because it's dangerous, number one. It's contagious, number two, right? Oh, well, you don't want Israel, well, you must hate the Jews. Nobody hate the Jews. I don't hate the Jews. Hate the Jews for what? I don't view Jewish people different than the rest of the whites. Okay? Like, I'm sorry. And not right or for wrong. It's just the facts, y'all. I could never have any specific animus towards a specific group of whites because I don't make them distinctions. Okay. The whites are the whites are the whites. And they are different whites. They come in spicy. They come in different variations. I get that. You know what I'm saying? We got the English whites, the Irish whites, the Italians, the Jewish whites. Fine. I don't care. I could never single out a specific group of the whites. And I know it's only really in America here that the Jews are the whites, right? Like the Jews and Jewish people, they do other shit other places, but in America, the Jewish people have become the whites. I don't view the Jewish any different than I do the rest of the whites. So y'all take that how the fuck you want. I mean, I don't care. But I want us to get into these videos because the videos that I pulled have come from a number of pro-Palestinian rallies. I want to say from around the world. Because I think one of these actually took place in the UK, one of these clips that we're going to see. And this is a few minutes, everybody. So I need y'all to get comfy. Because every voice that we're about to hear, I believe, save for the last one, are going to be those of the voices of Orthodox Jewish folks. Orthodox Jews, not the Zionist Jews, not them new niggas, the Orthodox Jews, the OGs of the shit, right? And again, I have issue with lots of religions, and I'm not going to even get into all that shit right now. But my point is, so who are we about to see now, or the Orthodox Jews, not these Netanyahu Jews. I'm talking about the Orthodox, the Hasidic niggas, the niggas with the ringlets and the fucking yarmulkes and shit, like the real. And they're gonna break the shit down for you, y'all. What Israel does as a Zionist nation is antithetical to what Judaism is, to what the practitioners of this religion are. The Orthodox, the ultra, about it niggas, Jewish niggas, whatever. The Orthodox, they view this whole situation way different. They view it way different. And I think it's important that we be aware of their perspective, because much like the pro-Palestinian perspective is being maligned and discredited, the Orthodox Jews' perspective of the situation with Israel and Palestine often gets ignored. It gets drowned out. Don't nobody in America want to hear that shit because it doesn't suit a narrative. America likes to frame what's happening there as a holy war, as these Muslims hate these Jews. It's rife with Islamophobia. There's a lot of things. But I think it's valuable that we listen to the perspective of Orthodox Jews who not only stand with the Palestinian people, but they stand against Zionism. So let us take a listen to that.
We're here to stand up for Judaism. Judaism stands for peace, for justice, and we want to demonstrate to the world this underlying cause of the bloodshed in Palestine. Didn't start now overnight. It didn't start 2 days ago. It started with decades of occupation was being ignored by everyone. It started with ethnic cleansing, demolishing houses, desecrating the worship places in Jerusalem. We are demonstrating against what's happening to the root problem. And we want the world to address the root problem, not just blindly support Zionism. Jews are in general very confused. It's just the propaganda machine of Zionism to show that we are being persecuted rather than we're persecuting others. This is the problem of propaganda Zionism. Being killed, whether it's Jew, whether it's Palestinian, this is bloodshed caused by this curse of Zionism. Since the Second World War, where in the world have Jews been killed? Only in Palestine, because they're trying to take someone else's people's land. We used to live in peace with the Palestinians. Everyone knows that Zionism is a misfortune for us Jews. To say this anti-Semitic is just ridiculous. It's just one of these propaganda tools of Zionism. The only tool they have, when anyone starts criticizing them, the way they're treating the Palestinians, is straight to label them as anti-Semitic. We shouldn't be intimidated to be labeled the brand of anti-Semitic. We should stand up for peace and justice. It's not called anti-Semitic. So for us, the biggest favor for us Jews is to cease its support to Zionism, cease its support for the occupation and the siege, this criminal siege of Gaza. This is the biggest favor for us, and we have to be strong about it and be brave about it, and not care what this Zionist lobby here in the UK are working now behind the computer and labeling anyone who's criticizing them as being anti-Semitic or else self-hating, etc., etc.
As a Jewish rabbi, I find very important to come to the Al-Quds March, what is going on every year. Zionism is a rebellion against the Almighty, who sent Jewish people in exile to stay in exile, not to rebel against the nations, not to take over the Holy Land by force. Zionism is against every aspect of humanity, what they're robbing away, and they kill so many Palestinians, and constantly up to today's day, every day are Palestinians killed for nothing. They rob away the land from them. This wrong should be rectified. We are not supporting a two-state solution at all. If somebody takes over, a robber away someone else's house and then come out, oh, I'm looking for peace, I want to make the house half and half. I mean, what's peace in that? First thing is, if you want peace, give back the house. And the same thing here, from the river to the sea, should go back for the Palestinians in full. And then we can live in peace, Jews, Muslims, all other people together. The Zionists say they have to protect Jews from anti-Semitism, not to be another Holocaust. The truth is exactly the opposite. Zionism is only raising anti-Semitism in the world today. They endanger Jewish people all over the world. The only way to bring peace over the world is that the state of Israel should come to an end, and a peaceful end. Nobody looks for bloodshed. We hope and we pray to God to be soon in our days, and then we can live in Palestine together with the Palestinians like we lived for centuries together, and like we live in all the Muslim countries together in peace.
If you say the BDS movement is against Israel, isn't that anti-Semitism?
No, it's not. It's against Israel's regime of occupation, settler colonialism, and apartheid. We want to end the regime of injustice. That doesn't mean that we're against people because of their identity. We have absolutely nothing to do with identity. It does not matter if Israel were Jewish, Muslim, Christian, secular, Hindu, or anything. It really does not matter. As long as it's oppressing us, we'll continue to resist its regime of oppression. So going to the second point, is it anti-Semitic or not? The question itself is anti-Semitic.
Really?
Yes. Claiming that a boycott of Israel is anti-Semitic presumes that Israel and the Jews are one and the same. All the Jews are represented by Israel. All the Jews are one.
But they call themselves Jewish state?
They can call themselves anything they wish. I mean, they can call themselves the margin state, whatever. But the fact is, there's human diversity among Jews like among any other human group. Anyone who reduces all Jews to one monolithic group is an anti-Semite. So if you say all Jews are, whatever you say after the are, you're anti-Semitic. You can say all Jews are smart. That's an anti-Semitic statement. Just like saying all Jews are dumb. It's exactly the same anti-Semitism. So philo-Semitism, like we've seen in Germany in the political class, is anti-Semitism with another face.
Omar Baghdadi dropping the deets there, because BDS, the boycott, divest, sanction movement, that was labeled and smeared as anti-Semitic. Even there was some policy passed in the United States to try to curtail or to discourage or disrupt the BDS movement. So thank you there for Omar to drop those gems. Let me tell you y'all who the rabbi was that we just saw, and because he was also dropping gems. His name, he is an anti-Zionist Jew, and he is Rabbi Enalan Beck. And I appreciate, the perspective shared by some of these Orthodox Jewish brothers about how easily and how simple it is for people just to be labeled as anti-Semitic because they criticize the policies of a state. Okay. Like Omar just said there in the last clip, Israel doesn't represent all Jews. All Jews are not even in support of Israel existing as a state. According to the Torah, if Twitter is to be believed, there in the Torah doesn't even make provisions for there to be a Jewish state because the Jews say they don't need no goddamn state. Excuse my language, Jesus. I'm talking about, and I'm saying Jesus. Okay, hold on. let me recenter myself. Hold on. I'm sorry. I'm blaspheming all over the place. It's not intentional. Okay, so from the account that I saw, Torah Judaism, and that is the at Torah Judaism on Twitter, and I'm still gonna call the shit Twitter. Fuck Elon Musk. This shit ain't never gonna be X, nigga. The only X we recognize is who, y'all? Malcolm and Dark Man. That's it. I ain't calling Twitter X. Kiss my ass. So Twitter, the Twitter account at Torah Judaism, that posted the clip of the rabbi that we saw speaking, the second to last clip there. It says anti-Zionist Jews support Palestine. It says watch Rabbi Beck's important message for Palestine. It says, as Jews, we demand the return of Palestinian lands from the sea to the river. Okay, to the Palestinian people. It says Jews do not need a state. The Torah forbids Jews from establishing a state on earth. Jews cannot establish a Jewish state anywhere in the world. These are not my words. This is coming from the Torah Judaism. Okay? Everybody, I suppose, who has some sort of involvement with this quote conflict knows this, okay? But at the end of the day, this is not about religion. This is not holy war. This is about colonization. This is about land. This is about oppressing and suppressing people who are deemed less than human. Everything about this screams colonialism, right? And I'm sorry, I don't ever root for the colonizers. You can call me whatever the fuck you want, okay? You can call me whatever the fuck you want. There's no situation in which I'm going to root for the colonizers. There's no situation I'm going to say that there is bloodshed on both sides from the colonized and from the oppressed. I'm not doing that. It's not going to happen. And I'm always going to root for the oppressed people. And when the oppressed people achieve a militaristic victory, I'm not going to condemn that. I'm not. I can't. That's like me trying to condemn, is Noli D, what is Noli D? What native sovereign nation was it that fought the U.S. Army at Little Bighorn? Was it the Sioux? I think it was the Sioux. Imagine me trying to condemn the Sioux, the Sioux Nation, for beating General Custer's ass at Little Bighorn. Oh, damn. Well, Kim, you know the Army had some people out there. I don't give a fuck what the U.S. Army had when they were trying to suppress Native people and take them off of their fucking lands. I'm rooting for the colonizers to not only lose, but die. Okay? And I'm not going to be intimidated by trying to appease some sort of mainstream narrative, because you know you're not supposed to say that because they might take it a certain way. That's why I said on the Remix Morning Show, I said, when I talk about this Palestine thing from my limited perspective, but I still have very strong feelings about it, dog, let me double and triple and quadruple down. Let me make sure I never get a job in mainstream broadcasting. Let me make sure that shit never fucking happens, because I could never capitulate to these standards that are being set right now. People are just parroting that Hamas is a terrorist organization, that this was a terrorist attack, that Israel has been really trying hard to establish peaceful relations with the Palestinians. All that is bullshit. You're never going to catch me echoing that shit. And let me please take a moment here to acknowledge the principled stand taken by our good sis Jacqueline Lukman. I think you guys should be aware. I don't know if Jackie was on the air tonight or what, but she shared with us yesterday that she and her by any means necessary co-host Sean, the voice, that they lost their jobs yesterday or this week at Sputnik, because they refused to report on this occupation. They refused to report on the Israeli occupation of Palestine from a both sides perspective. They refused to do it. And let me tell you, first of all, Jacqueline already had all my respect. And let me tell you guys, like, it is not easy to know that there is a good chance that you will lose your livelihood because of something that you say and because of a stand within your personal moral compass that you are willing to project out to the world, and to say no to your boss when they insist that you compromise your own principles in order to execute the job in the way that they want you to. That's not easy. What Jackie and Sean did, I'm sure they would tell you that it was easy, like, oh, that's a no-brainer. But no, it's hard. Okay, it's hard, and I can tell you a lot of reasons why it's hard. Because for one, I used to work at Russian media, and I can tell you they do pay nice rubles. The rubles, nice rubles. Okay, it's nice. It's nice rubles. It's nice rubles, and transitioning in between jobs in any industry is very difficult. But even within the broadcast industry, especially in a place like Washington, D.C., where, you know, it's not big. You know what I'm saying? The media landscape around here is relatively smallish, right? And I'm telling you, there's not going to be a lot of people knocking down folks' doors who take a stance in support of the Palestinians. Okay, it's not allowed. It's not even allowed on Russian media, and we know that the Russians don't even really fuck with the Jewish people like that. So if the fact, if the Russians won't let you tell the truth, baby, it's a tough thing. But I wanted to acknowledge Jackie's sacrifice, Jackie and Sean's sacrifice, and again, just to communicate in, you know, to telegraph my ongoing and deeply eternal respect for Jacqueline Lukman and the lengths that she is willing to go, um, to make sure that justice and rightness is seen in the world, even if it comes at a personal sacrifice. So I wanted to say that. Noble Brown running some bucks. Noble Brown, I was about to take it personal because I seen you done ran BPM lots of bucks. And I said, maybe Noble Brown, maybe Noble Brown just don't fuck with me. But I am happy to see that you are fucking with the kid. And because you have ran us this very generous super chat, I have got to read this paper because you have sent a lengthy thing here. So hold on. Domine un minute. Let me get my Russian on real quick. Thank you, Noble Brown, for your support. It says James Baldwin said loosely, I enjoy the cowboy movies growing up until I realized that I was the Indian. Come on now. You already know that. You said, we are all the Indians. That is correct. If you aren't a part of the group behind the quote, real white people, end quote, curtain. That is correct. You said nobody is going to lay down. No one is going to lay down and like themselves be starved. That's right. And let themselves be starved and beaten. 100%. Noble Brown, thank you so much for that. And that is exactly what the Palestinian people, number one, have been facing. Like I said, y'all, a blockade. To be clear, what is a blockade? A blockade is the means via land, sea, and air to prevent the importation of goods, I would imagine, including food, medicine, textiles, shit that people need for their everyday survival. Palestine has been under such a blockade, similar to what Cuba has been under. But what Palestine, I mean, it's so sinister and fucked up that Israel is really out here trying to starve these people. And this is being accelerated right now in front of all of our eyes while we are all being told that Hamas and the Palestinians are the fucking terrorists. And that's just how it goes, y'all. If you are an oppressed group, if you are a marginalized group, if you Black, if you Native American, if you Palestinian, if you gay, if you were all the things, right? It's expected that you supposed to get your ass beat all of the time, right? Like the dominant groups are just allowed to fuck you up on a continual basis, unabated, right? But the minute that you strike back, that you throw a punch, that you pick up a rock and throw it, that you bust a shot, all of a sudden you're the fucking terrorist. How dare you defend yourself? How dare you stand up? You terrorist. You're not supposed to do that. You're just supposed to die. Nah, fuck that. Fuck that. Schultze 100. Schultze, thank you for becoming a new channel member. Even though, Schultze, you've been riding for the squad for a long time, and we fuck with you, Schultze. You know this. And gang, y'all know by and large, I don't know who's who in here. I mean, I kind of do, and I kind of don't. But I'm imagining that any Jewish folks that we have that support this program or support, platforms like Black Power Media, there's no way y'all could be Zionists, and I already know this, right? So again, like I say, to the good white folks and to the good bruvs, you know what I'm saying? If I'm not talking about you, then they ain't no reason to get upset. Y'all, I'm not an anti-Semite. I don't have nothing against. I don't even see what I could have against Jewish people. What could I have against Jewish people that I wouldn't have against the rest of the whites? I don't even know what that sounds like. I'm sure that sounds fucking crazy to everybody listening. But I'm sorry. There is nothing. I grew up in Maryland, y'all. I was grateful to have Yom Kippur and Rosh Hashanah all from school. Like, again, I have no animus towards the Jewish people, none whatsoever. I have plenty of animus towards the state of Israel because of how horrible they treat the Palestinian people and how horribly really they treat most Black people that come in their country. I'm thinking about who's y'all know who they are, the East African Jewish, the African Jews, you feel me? them people come to Israel and get treated wholesale like shit, right? So I know Israel is anti-black, and then there's just all this other shit percolating in the ether about Palestinians being anti-black and black people shouldn't support Palestine. Let me explain something to you. Every fucking body is anti-black, y'all. Okay, it's Africans anti-black. It's Black Americans that's anti-black. Okay, unfortunately, we cannot paint with a broad brush, all groups as being anti-black, because guess what? Everyone's fucking anti-black. Black Americans are anti-black. Africans are anti-black. Like that. Knock it off. Okay. How do I get treated when I be around them people? Okay. I would imagine I would get treated way better by Palestinians in Gaza than I would by Israelis just walking the fuck around, not with my church group, not on a very, curated itinerary where we go here, here, and here. We don't really get off the bus and mingle and schmingle and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so let me just be clear. Let me sum this up, because again, this is not a news report. I'm not here to update y'all on what's going on in fucking Israel and in Gaza. The shit it is on right now in Israel and Gaza. That's what's going on, right? And either we are going to all collectively witness a devastating humanitarian crisis as Palestinians are trying to flee, as Israel is arbitrarily bombing the shit out of them, man, woman, child, they don't care. And they would say, Israel, that is, would say, well, that's in response to the horrific attacks from Hamas. No. Well, what is the Hamas attacks in response to? Don't act like the shit was unprovoked. Don't act like the shit was a surprise. You shouldn't be surprised. You keep fucking with people, they're gonna fuck with you back. Israel is calling this attack their 9/11, huh? 9/11, huh? Oh, where America was arbitrarily bombing the shit out of Afghanistan, out of Iraq, out of a lot of places, and then came and got punched in the fucking face, huh? Well, the shit is bound to happen. That shit is bound to happen. You keep fucking with people, they're gonna rise up and fuck with you. Let me take a break. Adios, meals. Thank you all so much for being here. And again, I encourage y'all, go round the YouTubes, go everywhere y'all need to go to get a firmer analysis. You want to get a deeper historical context. You want to go on and get all that shit. I'm just here to let y'all know where we stand. You know what I'm saying? We are standing on the side of the oppressed. That's it. That's basically all I got to say, to be honest. And I want to use this opportunity to be clear. This is a moment in our history that we are witnessing right now, where we are going to see very clearly who has the actual freedom of speech to say things and who does not. And the ways that people will be punished. There will be punishments. It will be punitive. If you stand up for Palestine in this moment, you will feel it. Okay? I don't know in which way I will feel it, but I don't have any expectation that I won't feel it in some way. You understand? So anyway, shout out to all them Orthodox Jews who are riding for Palestine. That's who we fuck with out here. Thank you, Andre, for your super chat donations. What you say here, Andre? Oh, you said thank you for speaking out. That's it. For speaking the truth. Thank you, Andre. Thank you for your support, and thank you for listening, man. I appreciate that, you guys. You guys, I'm standing with the oppressed every time. Every time. Every time. Every time. Like every time. Ain't no way I'm ever rooting for the US in any situation, or anyone that's allied with the US, like Israel. Ain't no way. I ain't rooting for y'all. I'm rooting for y'all to lose. Okay? Just like I'm rooting for America to lose. And some might ask, well, Kim, you live in America. Why would you want America to fall down and fail? Because America supports some bullshit like this. That's why. America can't be here. Thank you, Donnie. Don just cash tapped us. Thank you so much for all your generous support, Donnie. I appreciate you. $sign BIDWKB. Get like Donnie. What's up, Teresa? I didn't even shout y'all out. Wait, I'm on a break. Hold on, we're taking a break. What's up, Wendy? What's up, Franny France? Who is that? E-Manifesto? Did I see that? No, I didn't. What's up, Dee Dee? Of course, Infinite's in here. Thank you so much. I appreciate y'all. Schultzy, my son Tyler is here. Quaker, anarchist, socialist. Quaker, thank you so much for all that you do for the channel. Who else is in here? Jonathan. Who else is in here? Noli D. Noli D. Noli D. Noli D. Noli D. Imagine us rooting for the U.S. Army at the Battle of Little Bighorn. Just imagine. What? Root for who? Who? You want me to root for the oppressor and the colonizer against the natives? Shit. In what world? In what world? No. I want Israel to lose. I don't even know what the fuck Israel losing look like. I guess I got to get the land back, but land back. Right. Yes. Land back to the Palestinians, land back to the natives, to the indigenous people of this continent. Yes, 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 Aya. Shout out. What's up, Latif? Thank you so much. Is Courtney in here? Court, are you here? Shout out to Courtney. We love Courtney to pieces. So thank you guys so much. Anyway, let me move on to my next story here. You guys hit the like and the thumbs up on the video. Hopefully you have already seen this update. If you haven't, let me be the one to tell you. So before George Floyd was murdered in Minneapolis in 2020, in 2019, a young man by the name of Elijah McClain was murdered by the Aurora Police Department in Colorado. Elijah, oh my God. Every video, every picture I see of this young man, I think he was 23 years old. Every video and picture I've ever seen of Elijah, he just looks like a light. He just looks like a light in the world. He just has a beautiful smile, just these big bright eyes, and, absolutely does not seem like anybody who should have been on the receiving end of any police violence or police brutality. But tragically, he was. Elijah was stopped by Aurora police officers for looking suspicious. And in fact, the Aurora police didn't have any criminal justification as to why they stopped Elijah, as to why they subdued him, as to why he eventually lost his life when he was given a very high dosage of ketamine once EMTs arrived on the scene in attempts to sedate him, to calm him. Like, can I tell you how fucking absolutely terrifying that is to think that emergency medical professionals would administer a very powerful and potent drug to someone whose medical history that they didn't know because the cops said so? The fuck. Real quick. Oh, hold on. Let me get to the update. So the update is this. So there were 3 officers total charged in connection with Elijah McClain's death. None charged with murder. They were all charged with lesser charges. Well, this week there was a verdict that actually ended up sort of being a split decision, if we can call it that. Will, can we cue up that video, please? Let me get us the update. Let me see who this is coming from. I think this is coming from possibly the Fox affiliate out Denver, but I actually might have that wrong. But this is the package. So let us observe the package here and at least get somewhat of a partial outcome and update to the police murder of Elijah McClain in Aurora, Colorado. Let's take a look.
Morning. Today, despite that conviction, Elijah McClain's family is still demanding justice in this troubling case. No crime had been committed, and McClain was not armed, dying because of what appears to be a tragic misunderstanding. Warning, what you're about to see is not graphic, but it is emotionally wrenching.
Pause that real quick. Can you pause that?
This morning,
I just wanted to say this real quick. You can keep that up on screen, and it's fine to hear me. This is Good Morning America, by the way. This package is from Good Morning America, and the propaganda already off the top. When the reporter, the anchor there, describes it as a misunderstanding. No, nigga. The misunderstanding is yours. Do you understand that black people get murdered in this country, get stopped by police, get harassed in this country all the fucking time? It has nothing to do with a misunderstanding. Elijah was minding his goddamn business walking down the street. He was wearing a mask in fucking Colorado, and it's a misunderstanding? No. The misunderstanding here is yours, brother. You misunderstand that black people don't even have the right to walk down the street. And even in their attempts to justifiably explain themselves for their non-criminal actions, somehow they end up dead. So the misunderstanding here, you goofy ass nigga, is yours. I'm sorry. Go on, Will.
What you're about to see is not graphic, but it is emotionally wrenching. This morning, a Colorado police officer guilty of illegally killing Elijah McClain, a young man whose death shocked the nation.
We, the jury, find the defendant, Randy Rodima, guilty of criminally negligent homicide.
McClain's mother raising her fist as she left the courthouse, telling reporters she's not satisfied.
This is the divided states of America, and that's what happens.
McClain's mom clearly frustrated that Rodima faces less than a decade in prison and that another officer was acquitted in the killing of her son, who by all accounts was a gentle person who loved to play the violin and whose death raised serious questions about race and policing. The end of McClain's life all caught on chilling police body camera footage. His death, a tragic misunderstanding. It was August 2019 and McClain, a massage therapist, was walking home after buying iced tea from this convenience store.
Stop right there. Hey, stop right there.
Police confronting McClain after receiving a report of a suspicious person wearing a ski mask. McClain's family says he wore that ski mask because he was anemic and often felt cold. Police grabbed McClain within 7 seconds of the encounter.
Stop. I have a right to stop you because you're being suspicious.
The officers apply a chokehold. McClain tries reasoning with them.
I'm so sorry. I have no gun. I don't do that stuff. I don't do any fighting. Why would you touch me?
He's in pain.
I can't breathe correctly because...
And with that, Elijah McClain's life was soon over, inspiring violin vigils throughout the country, even though his music was silenced forever. During the confrontation with police, McClain was injected with a powerful sedative. The 23-year-old suffered a heart attack. 3 days later, he was brain dead.
It even to hear the details of how Elijah McClain passed away is still very difficult to even listen to that. And to hear him, so plainly try to plead his humanity to these fucking pigs, and they ignored him. And the EMTs, by the way, okay, so two of the officers there, one fully acquitted of all charges, the other convicted of involuntary manslaughter. There is another trial left to go. There's 3 more trials to go. One trial of another cop and the trial of 2 EMTs, slated, I believe, later this year or very early next year, because these EMTs in Colorado specifically, there was a pattern of practice of the injection of ketamine to people that were being detained by law enforcement, not even people who were under arrest. Noli D, if I'm not mistaken, I know you are well familiar with police accountability reports. Our good friends, Taya Graham and Stephen Janis. Police accountability report. If you're not following already on YouTube, please take a moment to do so. Stephen and Taya did a very in-depth report about this spate of people being detained by Colorado law enforcement who died or who were medically damaged by the EMTs injecting them specifically with these potent doses of ketamine, and they died. The fuck. So you heard Elijah McClain's mother there, not happy with the split decision. To, I suppose, the credit of the prosecutors there, for the one cop that got convicted of manslaughter, that's kind of what I support. if we're going to be able to bring these cops to some sort of justice or accountability within the criminal justice system, you got to charge them with something that you know you can get a conviction on. And unfortunately, first and second degree murder don't seem to be the charges that juries are willing to convict police upon, especially if the cops say something, frivolous like, I was in fear for my life. Not guilty. What the fuck? How was Officer Doodad supposed to do his job if he was in fear for his life? He had to kill that nigga, right? So I appreciate them charging these cops, with shit that juries would be actually willing to convict upon. But as we see there, that I can't even call it the struggle for justice, everybody, because I don't think that the charging, the conviction, and even the jailing of these officers is justice. And I can't even tell you what justice looks like absent, death penalty. Absent eye for an eye, right? If Elijah McClain got a ketamine hot shot, then hey, give all three of these cops ketamine hot shots. Let them know how it feels. You know what I'm saying? Let's do some reciprocity. But I can't say that the conviction, or I can't call it justice, because this boy should be here. Period. 23 years old. The child wouldn't harm a fly, and it's very, very plain. And and to hear him plead for his life, literally plead for his humanity, it's just too much to deal with. Yo, Infinite, did you just run us some more? Thank you so much for that. I'm assuming that's Infinite, because I don't want to be, because Infinite, if I scream out his government name, he will get upset. So I'm assuming that's Infinite. So thank you. Thank you, Infinite, if that was you. Let me give y'all this last update and I'm gonna be out. Well, let me take no, fuck, I ain't taking no break. We rolling. Fuck that. Let me pull up my article here. Thank you guys so much for coming through. Please like the video, share, subscribe, etc., etc. Oh, please, guys, you gotta, now more than ever, you gotta go support Luke Mon Nation, right? And by any means necessary. I'm not sure, and I hope that Jackie and Sean will resurrect the show on a different platform, possibly Black Power Media. Maybe y'all should put the press on Jackie and tell her and Sean, if they don't want the editors, all trying to dictate how they do their coverage, come on over to Black Power Media. I think that would be nice. Last story, and this is an update story. And it's an update that unfortunately is probably going to have another update to it. But this is the latest in what has been somewhat of a saga involving a man who was murdered by a Fairfax County police officer in Northern Virginia outside of Tyson's Corner Mall after the man was alleged to have stolen a pair of sunglasses. 37-year-old Timothy Johnson. Will, if you could pop up that DCist article for me, please. 37-year-old Timothy Johnson last year was alleged to have committed shoplifting, alleged to have stolen a pair of sunglasses from Tyson's Corner Mall. Tyson's Corner, by the way, the Galleria, it's a very ritzy, schmitzy, it's high dollar out there, Yeah. So anyway, Timothy was accused of stealing these sunglasses. He was pursued into the woods outside of the mall by Fairfax County Police, where Officer Wesley Shiflett opened fire and killed him. Timothy Johnson was unarmed. Timothy Johnson didn't do anything that would deserve any officer opening fire on him. He didn't attack the officers. In fact, he was retreating. He was running away. And when the officers caught up with him, they killed him. Initially, when this incident happened, Timothy Johnson was vilified by the Fairfax County Police Chief, Kevin Davis. For those in the DMV area, you know the name Kevin Davis, this smarmy motherfucker who used to be the Baltimore Police Commissioner, Kevin Davis. Well, he don't let the fact that he helped to fuck up further Baltimore police, don't let that stop him from getting another fucking job. because he is the chief of police now in Fairfax County. Kevin Davis, when this incident first came out, he blasted Timothy Johnson. He blasted the deceased by talking about his lengthy criminal record. And the officer did what he had to do. Kevin Davis had to walk that shit back because Mr. Johnson, again, was unarmed and running away. And once the body cam footage was released, that was very clear that that was happening. So this is the latest. And oh, thank you so much. Okay. See, y'all can't be doing stuff. Well, it's fine anyway. Hold on. So this is the article from the DCist. The DCist. The DCist reports, it says the special grand jury has indicted a former Fairfax County police officer, Wesley Shiflett, for fatally shooting 37-year-old Timothy Johnson outside the Tysons Corner Mall. It said after an earlier grand jury declined to file charges, Shiflett, then a 7-year veteran of the department, was indicted on felony charges for involuntary manslaughter and reckless discharge of a weapon. According to the Commonwealth's attorney, Steve Descano, announced Thursday via a statement. This was an interesting case, everybody. Steve Descano, who's the Commonwealth's attorney, submitted this case to a grand jury last year, but the grand jury did not bring charges. Now, what I've come to understand is that I'm not sure if this is across the Commonwealth or something particular to Fairfax County, but for a grand jury, prosecutors aren't allowed to come and present the facts of the case directly to the grand jury. It's only law enforcement, right? According to Descano. This is part of a news conference I saw him give earlier. So Descano, who is the Commonwealth's attorney, impaneled a special grand jury in which he was allowed to come and present the facts, right? Which I thought was pretty remarkable on behalf of a prosecutor when it comes to trying to, bring charges against a cop, right? Most times these prosecutors are trying to find ways not to indict the cop, not to charge the cop, not to prosecute the cop. But it seems as though Steve Descano had went out of his way to try to make sure that Wesley Shiflett got some charges put on him. And I gotta say, that's all I'm gonna say. Let me read this. It says, quote, it says, our nation's justice system has historically been stacked in favor of protecting the powerful institutions and powerful individuals. And it is no small feat that the grand jury returned a true bill after reviewing this matter, Descano said in a statement. This is going to be interesting. Oh, hold on. Let me just review this real quick. So this happened back on February 22nd. Shiflett and his fellow officer. Damn, this happened this year. Why did I think this happened last year? I guess because it happened back in February. February 22nd, 2023. Officer Wesley Shiflett and fellow officer James Saylor chased down Timothy Johnson into a wooded area outside of the Tysons Corner Mall after receiving a call that Johnson had allegedly stolen a pair of sunglasses. Johnson was unarmed. Police said that both officers were part of the Tysons Urban Team, which is a unit of the Fairfax County Police Department that patrols the mall, right? Because we got to protect the property. Fuck them people. Police in March released Shiflett's body-worn camera showing Shiflett running through a retail store inside of the mall and then eventually following Johnson outside out into an outside parking garage and onto a dark street. Shiflett runs after Johnson, and as they move into a wooded area, Shiflett yells, "Get on the ground," several times. The footage shows, and then it says 3 shots can be heard in the video. Shot him 3 times. For what? By the way, Timothy Johnson was black. Of course, because, black people are the ones that get shot unarmed for shoplifting. So there is that. So I want us just to be made aware that charges have been brought in this. It was not clear that charges were going to be brought. That's cool. Well, it was not clear that charges were going to be brought because the first grand jury refused to indict. And I was surprised that this Commonwealth's attorney, this prosecutor, decided to take another bite at the apple and take a more direct approach by impaneling a special grand jury. So, I guess, am I giving a tip of the hat to fucking Steve Descano, a prosecutor? I guess I am, because he didn't let this thing go. And hopefully he will prosecute Wesley Shiflett as vigorously as he sought to get these charges brought and get an indictment from the grand jury in the first place. So we want to continue to send our condolences out to Timothy Johnson's mother, who has made a number of appearances here on local media. She expressed her happiness, outright happiness, with this announcement that Shiflett would be charged with something. So just another reminder of things that Black people cannot do in America under penalty of death. And that is shoplift, right? Well, and in the case of Elijah McClain, can't walk down the street wearing a mask lest you look suspicious. And the cops have all the reasons in the world to fuck with you. Because again, this is how they do Black people. So anyway, gang, I'm going to call that a night for tonight. So thank you all so much for your support. I appreciate it so very deeply. Did someone ran us some more bucks? Did I mention everybody? Someone ran us $20. Did I say that? Hold on, let me double check, because y'all know I smoke a lot of marijuana and I forget. Oh, no, BW in Wisconsin. Thank you so much for your super chat support. I really appreciate that, guys. And again, please support the Palestinian people, support the Haitian people, support all the people, support all the people that find themselves oppressed out here and marginalized, and who are still finding the strength and the energy to fight back, to resist, to not lay down and simply die. Like that is important, that we recognize these struggles, that we recognize that we are also connected to these struggles. And even if we are not directly connected to these struggles, we need to find connection just on a human level, on an empathetic level, that the same struggle that Palestinians are facing is the same struggle that Black Americans are facing, the same struggle that Indigenous people are facing, the same struggle that gay people are facing, right? Like it's a lot. It's a lot. So, never side with the colonizer or with the oppressor. Always ride with the marginalized and the oppressed, because that is the righteous side of history in which you want to find yourself on. Okay. All right. On that note, gang, thank you all so much for your support of the channel tonight. Shout out to Will and Male for all that you do. We'll see you back here on Tuesday. And be sure to go over there and also fuck with BPM, Black Power Media. Subscribe, like, follow, do all that good shit over there for the good platform also. We love you guys. Thank you all so much. See you later. Bye-bye, y'all. Have a good weekend. Be safe. Be safe.